Funding for Love to Paint with Mimi was provided by Agnes Gund, Utrecht Art Supplies, celebrating 60 years, and by Kelly and Robert Day. Additional funding was provided by the following:
Hi, I'm Mimi. Today we're going to explore the fascinating world of color. So grab your brushes and let's get ready to paint. Ready, set, go. Here we go. Paint on paper. This is what creation is about. Woo, isn't that beautiful? This is the beach. Look at that green against that yellow. I mean, it just sings. We're dancing with this color. It's going across the page. I'm a shape maker. That's what artists do. They make shapes, they create color, they do all these incredible things. Oh, I love to paint. Color is one of the most exciting elements that an artist has to work with. And today we're going to visit my friend Rebekah Cook, and she's going to show us some wonderful things we can do with color. Rebekah Cook is an artist from Narragansett, Rhode Island. She's been working on a painting of her Great Dane, Maximus, and she's just about to create some fun effects with color.
In this particular painting, I spent a little more time, worked a little bit more on a traditional approach to Max. So I've got him in his traditional colors, that's his realistic colors, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some violet and add some violets into his fur, into the shadowed areas, and then I'm going to use some warmer colors like yellows and oranges in the background to try to, show you how those complementary colors can work together.
Great, okay.
Are we ready?
We are ready.
Okay. If you notice too, even though I said I'm putting violet in on the black, I also have some blues in the violet. I've always explained to the children take lessons from me to not just use a straight color out of a tube. It just makes it much more interesting of a piece if you add more colors.
Next, Rebekah adds a bright yellow to the background, which helps Max to stand out. And then to really make the painting fun and bold, she paints the floorboards red. This painting is a wonderful example of how the three primary colors can work together in harmony to create a very eye-catching composition. Now let's take a look at some more of Rebekah's work. So here we have an incredible horse, and the color, what colors have you used to paint that horse?
I used phthalo blue, cerulean blue, white. Within the horse himself, I even have some reds which pulled in some violets. And then in the background, I use phthalo green, Prussian blue. There's some Prussian blue in the horse, and some light greens as well.
So how did you happen to choose to do a blue horse?
I drive by this horse every day, and they just always seem to be just very blue to me, downtrodden. So that's how it's called Feeling Blue is the name of the piece. So that's kind of how I came up with they just seemed kind of, lowly and bored. And I just came up with the Feeling Blue title and went with the blue horse.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful. So I know you love to do animals. I know
do.
also that you do cows, and I know you've got a great cow that I wanted to look at. Tell me about the cow. How did you happen to paint this cow?
Just came across a picture that I had of him and just wanted to work really fast, and of course I ended up going with the blue again. I have a tendency to lean more towards the cool colors for some reason when I work with most of the animals, and I wanted to use complementary colors, so I pulled in the oranges, which is a complement of blue, and used it in the grasses and mixed kind of a combination of the two in the background, made it more of a neutral.
I love the way he's dead center, he's coming right at you. The colors are simple, they're straightforward, they're powerful, and the focus is on that bull. Did the bull have a name?
I don't know.
Wild bull.
Yeah.
That is really
It's
great.
funny how even at that younger age they still have those personalities. I do that a lot when I when I look and focus on animals, I try to pick out their personality, and a lot of times you can use color and use color to express personality.
Really? Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I think that, like, for example, blue is, to me, is a strong color, and you have a young bull here, and automatically you associate a bull of being a strong animal. So that's probably why I tended to go more towards the darker blues and violets.
It's been wonderful interviewing you. Thank you so much for joining us. Rebekah and we're going back to the studio to do some more painting. Weren't those paintings wonderful? Now we're going to do some color studies right here in the studio, and I'm going to start off talking about the color wheel and the primary colors. There are 3 primary colors. They're red, yellow, and blue, and all other colors are made up of these 3 primary colors. White and black are lack of color. So we'll start off with the yellow, and this is the color here's the yellow, and I'm going to put a yellow over here because I want us to remember that there are basically 3 primary colors, and all the others come off of these 3 primary colors. The second primary color is blue, and we're going to use ultramarine blue. And that's going to be right here. And we'll put it right over here. And the third primary color is, I'm sure you all know it, it's red. And we're going to use alizarin crimson for the red. Now the secondary colors are the colors that are created from mixing these colors. For instance, if you mix yellow and red together, you get orange. So we've got the yellow right here on the palette, and we've got the red, and there's our orange. I'm going to put a little more yellow in it. So here's our orange, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, showing that it's a secondary color. Then, if we mix yellow and blue together, we get green. And that's why the ocean turns to green with the yellow sand and the blue sky. So we've got the yellow, and now we're going to mix it in with the blue, and there's our green. And of course it depends how much of the blue or the yellow you put in as to whether or not it's going to be a dark green or a light green. And there's our green. And then if we mix red and blue together, we get purple. So we're going to mix phthalo blue and red. And let's see what kind of a purple we get. It's very dark, so we need to just add a little more water to it. And I think we need a little more red, a little more alizarin. Now let's see what that looks like. There's our purple right there. And I'm going to water it down a bit so we can actually see it. There's our purple. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to paint a picture using these colors, these primary colors and complementary colors. These are the primaries, yellow, red, blue. These are the secondary colors, green, orange, and purple. And a complementary color is the color is opposite the primary. So the complementary color of red is green. The complementary color of yellow is purple. The complementary color of blue is orange. And these colors sing when they're playing off against each other. And this is called a family of colors. And they often say that the color opposite on the wheel is the lover, and the ones that are next to the color are the friends. Now I just want to show you a little bit of what happens when you have, let's say we have a blue sky. Now these are really fun exercises to do. So we have a blue sky here, and then we have, let's say we have yellow sand, and you're going to see what happens. That's real, and it could be just color. You can just draw color just for the fun of it. You don't necessarily have to have a subject in mind. Now let's say we have lavender. We have a lavender. And that could also be yellow. And in theory, this should be a little more orange, so let's put a little orange in there. But this is a cool color and a light color. Cool color, light color. And I'm going to just take a little bit of Kleenex and just take that off. So you know Christmas is red and green. Okay, so we're going to do a painting with a red and green. A red sky, pink sky, and a foreground that's going to be green. So we know that red and green are complementaries. You see it at Christmas all the time, and it's a beautiful combination. So we're starting off with this red. This time we're going to be using the cambium red medium. And I love this color. I love it because I see it at sunrise, I see it at sunset, and then I see the colors in the foreground, often the greens, depending on the time of year, of course. So here we go. And I think we should have this a little brighter even. What the heck? Have a little brighter. We can go back in here, dance with the color, have fun. And we have a little drip going down here. We'll just take that out. And we're going to lift this up. And I'm thinking about the rule of thirds. You know, have about a third in the lower part and 2/3 in the upper part. And then we start mixing the green, which is the complementary. Remember, the green was the yellow and the blue. And we can make it a light green or a dark green. So let's see if this is dry. We'll have to just paint it. Even if it isn't dry, we're going to go in there. And what we'll do is we can go back and fix it up. I can always fix it up, or just about always. But it's nice when you can go in the first time and just hit it. So here we have this. And we're going to come over here because I want a little bit of the water showing. And I see what I need to do here. I need to straighten this out just a bit here, because this is the water. There's going to be water out here. We want, you know, the horizon line is generally pretty flat. And then I'm thinking, well, this is kind of an interesting shape because I'm a shape maker. That's what artists do. They make shapes, they create color, they do all these incredible things. And one of the extraordinary things about doing art is you feel what's going on. If you really were to look at a landscape and you become it, you see it in a way that you would never ever see it if you hadn't really painted it. For some reason, when we paint things, they become part of us. So now we've got to make this a little darker here, putting this green in, and this little fuzzy business here, that's fine. It could be in the distance, it could be a little fuzzy, or I can go back in, work it over again. And I'm going to make this a little darker down here. This color is so beautiful. And I'm going to start to mix a couple of blues in there. I've got the phthalo, And I also have the ultramarine blue. Just for the fun of it, we want to change a little color here. We do this. And we can do that. And now we're going to put a couple of a tree right up in here. So we're going to put a tree right here. And you know, trees are often, the wind will blow them one way or another. If the wind came from that direction predominantly, this tree would have more branches coming out over this way. So we're going to have this coming out over this way. It's so much fun to put this paint down. I love, it's just so extraordinary to think that there was nothing there. And now look what we've got. And then we're going to put a couple trees over here. And this is we're talking about horizontals, and this is, rather than everything's going across that way, we've got these colors going up, these trees going up in the air. We'll have another one right down in here. And then what we can do is, let's put some little leaves up in here. Just as if there's a little branch up in here. You know, artists are creators. We can put things in that we don't necessarily see there. And some people want to paint exact rendition of what's going on, and that's fine. There are as many different ways to do art as there are people. And I'm just showing you my way, but my hope is that you'll get excited and want to start putting paint down or start creating. So we're going to make a little more of this going down here, and it should be a little darker because it's more in the foreground, actually, than those faraway trees. Sometimes you might want to make the faraway trees darker because you might want to draw your attention to them. But in reality, when anything is close, it's going to be darker and brighter. And if it's in the distance, it's going to be more faded out. So here we have these nice little branches. And then, you know what I thought would be fun? Why don't we put a couple of little figures in this painting? I'm just going to put a few little grasses in here. And then I'm going to put two little figures. We'll see what they turn out like. And you know, I've mentioned before that when we put figures in, I never put the head first, because the head should go last, because then you've determined the size of the body. So let's have two figures here. I'm going to put a little more water on that. Oh, I love this. I love painting. And they're sitting here on this hill, and here's another one right next to it. Who knows who it is? It could be lovers, or it could be friends, it could be anyone. But there we have two little figures there, and we're going to have little shadows going across here. And that's all so then we've got one little painting. Now I've shown you what it is like to have complementary colors. And I see this needs to come down here a tiny bit more. But I really want to do color studies today. So we've done this. Now we're going to go on to do another color study. Okay, now we're ready to go in with the yellow. We're ready to dance in the sky with the yellow. And I have two little yellows here, New Gamboge and Cambium yellow. Okay, now let's just go in and start with this yellow. We're dancing with this color. It's going across the page. Look at it. You know, sometimes the sky is bright yellow. But you've got to be an early riser, or you've got to be around at sunset, generally just to see these things. Unless, of course, there's a hurricane coming or a cyclone or something. Then the sky gets a peculiar color. So we go like this. And we're having it's getting a little lighter as it gets going down here. Now, we've got the situation where I want to put some mountains in here. And I want to be a little bit careful because it's a little wet in here. But you know what I want to do? I'm going to put some purple up in the sky while I'm waiting for this to dry. And I also think what I might do is just, in order to expedite the drying, I'm just going to gently help it to dry a little bit while I'm up in the sky. Now we know that purple is made from red and blue. So we go back in and we mix this purple. So we take the red, we're taking the alizarin, and we're taking the phthalo, and we're mixing them up. And then we're going to put a little water in here. And this is the exciting part because you really don't know what's going to happen. So, and that is not exactly purple, but it, see these two colors in here? All right, so we're just going to go down. It is kind of purple. And then in the lower part, what we're going to do is we're going to take this purple, and these are mountains in the background. Ooh, look at that. See, I had no idea that was going to happen. A beautiful line there. And we have that incredible line, and it's just something, that's what you call the happy accident of watercolor. And then we have another mountain range that's going up higher because it's a little bit closer, and that's going to give us that. And you know what I see here is I want to have a little bit of this here. Just because, I don't know why, but my intuition, and listen to that intuition, just wants me to have some more lines in there. And then if we want, we could go ahead and even put a tree in there. But look at these colors. They sing. They're beautiful. And color is such a feeling. And everyone has their favorite colors. Work with your favorite colors. Someone might like browns. Someone might like blues. But whatever it is, that's the color you should work with. So I think what I want to do here is, I think just for the fun of it, I think maybe what I'll do is just put a tree in. Now we have to decide, where do we want the tree? You know what I think I want to do? I want to make trees like this. And this is the creative process in action. I didn't know I was going to put trees in there. We're getting, and then we want that blue. Oh, that's so beautiful. And that red with it. And we're just going to put some trees, little trees, going up and down, and I have to, they're in the distance and they're coming up forward. All kinds of wonderful trees here. And we're going to make a little more of the alizarin and mix it in with the blue. And you know, sometimes you do see these trees, they're up so close, and you don't have to see anything else in front of them. And these could be, they could be, oh, look at that. You see a little goof over there? So I'm just going to cover the goof up. That's the fun part of being an artist. So here we have our complementary colors of yellow and purple. And you can buy beautiful purples, and you can mix beautiful purples. There are millions of colors. But the main thing is to know what you love and go ahead and use the color and paint with it and look at it and absorb it. Go out and see flowers. Watch the sunrise, watch the sunset, really look at a tree. Really search for the colors, because there are colors there that you will have no idea that you've ever seen before. Look at the color of eyes. Eyes are just extraordinary. So this was the lesson for today. I'm so glad you joined me. I hope you learned something about color. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to explore, wear, and sing with color. Thank you so much for joining me.
For more inspiration and to order DVDs, please visit mimisammis.com. Funding for Love to Paint with Mimi was provided by Agnes Gund, Utrecht Art Supplies, celebrating 60 years, and by Kelly and Robert Day. Additional funding was provided by the following: